Today will be as productive as yesterday. I actually just checked out the audio from yesterday's stream, and that was remarkably not shit. um, you guys don't seem to have been voting on the poll in the YouTube chat, so I'm going to keep that open for a little minute more, just to see if anybody has opinions. I'm a little bit torn between what we should do here. Because last time, which was literally yesterday, we ended up spending a lot of time on getting the AI movement for these little dudes, for these NPC dudes, correct. Let me just put one in right here. So they will all. We need to actually improve some AI stuff anyway. But they will always try to move toward a random display case that has a card in it. He doesn't have directionality to his sprites yet. But the AI navigation is kind of shit, right? Because what I want him to do is I want him to stand right here, but he just kind of stops moving when he's kind of close enough-ish, which is not ideal. But at this point, I think I can just kind of live with it as well. The alternative would be at this point getting rid of all of Unreal's built-in navigation system, so not using a nav mesh anymore, and building our entire own from the ground up. And what that would entail is effectively we have this top-down character. It would do a shape cast for a box into the direction that it wants to move in. For the Y first, for instance, or the X first, whatever you like. And then it will move as far as it can into that direction. And then it will move in the opposite direction. So if it goes X first, then it moves over to here. Then it will go Y, then it will move all the way down here. And then it will try X again, and then it will try Y again, and X again, and Y again. And so forth and so on. And that should still that will result in it sometimes getting stuck because there's no actual pathfinding, right? It's just a very simple movement algorithm that it would do. But that would be the way that we do it. Or we can just kind of accept that they move a little wonky sometimes and move on with the economy. And I made a poll and nobody seems to have strong opinions one way or the other. So I'm going to assume that it's up to me now. And that means that we're going to be doing the economy. So I'm going to be ending the poll. 0 votes, which is fine. That's cool. And we're going to be doing some economy stuff. So what we'll do is we also need to make sure that we don't want the same NPC potentially trying to buy the same card twice. So if we have two NPCs, right, and they both happen to go to the same card, which if there's only one card, that will just be the place that they go to. So let's just put in one card here, right? They also need to have collision that doesn't overlap each other. But now they're both walking toward this card, and if they're both going to be trying to buy this card, only one can buy them. But we also have this issue. So let's first and foremost check out the collision for the NPC character, because I think that is relevant to check out. So we have a collision box here, and that collision box is set to overlap all dynamic. I think we're going to change that to block all. For the NPC. And as a matter of fact, we probably also need to do that for the player. I feel like we already probably did that for the player, right? It's set to custom. It's world dynamic, which is block all except camera. That makes sense. The camera doesn't really matter in this case, but now I shouldn't be able to walk through them anymore. So yeah, we definitely need to update their actual collision shape, because that doesn't seem right, at all. Wait, what? Their collision is here, and their sprite is all the way up there? What the This comes back to the issue that we had last time, doesn't it? I think it does. Also, my camera keeps messing up, and I don't know why. So yeah, the sprite itself seems to move out of the way. And that might be because the sprite... Is that because the sprite has collision? No, the sprite doesn't have collision. So why does the sprite move? Because if you know... Hold on. That was a little annoying. Let me real quick put an is valid check in both of these. Just so that it stops giving me errors. Because the errors are kind of bothering me. Because what I think will happen is if I run my game, right? And I F8 and I move my camera over here and I stop running the game, the sprites will just like jump back down. Wait, what? Oh, we need to, in this function itself, we need to, if display case to remove is true, that's the thing that we need to put in the check in. That's fair. I'm actually kind of surprised that that didn't crash anything, if I'm being honest with you. Oh, that patches in very, very quickly. Alright, let's try again. Because the thing is that I think that the sprites are just moving on begin play for some godforsaken reason. And I don't really understand why. And I also still don't understand what my camera is doing. Like at all, but we'll manage, I suppose. So if I now stop playing, the sprites will... What is your problem? Like, what the actual, like, this... I don't know, man. Let's just rebuild. Maybe it didn't fucking live code in properly. I don't know. How's everybody doing today? Are you having a better day than me? You probably are, to be fair. I don't know. I guess I didn't save the shop level. It doesn't really matter. I can just put in the NPCs again. That's like not actually a big deal. I'll just put 2 in because we're going to need to test all this stuff with 2 people anyway. Okay, so... Why do you still have a remove card with case? Oh! The game mode is not valid. That is interesting. Why is the game mode not valid? Because we're trying to set card visibility before our initial cast. Why would we want to do that? That is fucking dumb. Don't do that. It's still good to have that if statement in the C++ code, don't get me wrong. Okay, so if we now... Yeah, that doesn't really... Okay. Does my camera work? My camera works properly again. Thank fuck. Okay, let's stop playing. And my camera stopped working again. But I also think that they might be... Hold on, I've got a better idea how to check this. Because this is not doing it. First and foremost, these need to be down on this level. Then what we need to do is, like, this guy is just barely, if we go to the top perspective, right? And we check out in lit mode. His hair is about on par with the bottom of this display case. If we then play... What the... How? Wait. Oh, it's a depth issue. It's a depth issue. That's what's going on. Yeah, they're up much higher. That's the issue. Okay. But that seems fixable. That seems highly fixable. So let's go back into our tile map real quick. Because the question is, how thick does the collision need to be for the nav mesh to deal with it? Don't care about this layer anymore either, I don't think. So does this layer do? For now, we're just going to remove that layer as well. I don't really care about it too much. And then we go down to the collision thickness. If we just set this to 1, it's going to be like very thin. Does it still generate a nav mesh? I think it does, which means that we can, yes. And I guess if we just go into the blueprint for this, like this doesn't need to have any thicker collision than 1 either, right? Like that should be all that it needs. Same for the player, actually. Maybe it's good to have a little bit more. Like have 5 for these, but then make sure that these sprites are at the snapping units of 1. Like at the very bottom of it. That's probably just a little bit better. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Why am I doing it the difficult way? I can literally just look at this from like this side view. Yeah, so let's just have it 1 up, and then the test player, we check it from the side view. That's 1 up as well. Okay, so that seems like it is probably a much better way to do all this. Which probably solves... Okay, that is a bit annoying. Okay, but that's still weird though, right? Because why... Okay, so now we get into the... Okay, so... Now we get into the issue where it actually does displace them. It's not a parallaxing issue, right? Because if I just walk over, like they don't move. Well, technically they might still a little bit. I don't think they do, actually. So the sprites are just not where their collision is, right? Okay, so these guys just straight up don't have that collision. But why do the sprites move when they start? That has to be due to the animation component. That must be what's going on. Animation component, right? We've got sprites. Do you need to set the component name or something like that? Is that something that we didn't do? Let's just not set an animation instance class. See if that changes anything. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now they're actually in their proper place, which is good. Also, we didn't set this back after we crashed or closed or whatever we did. So let's set this back to block all again. And then we go back into our animation components. NPC. Let's see if there's anything about this that we... that we have different. We literally copied it over though, so there shouldn't be anything significantly different from the player one. Like this is literally just the same code. Maybe aside from the fact that... Yeah, but we don't even use this, do we? Actually, yeah, we don't do that. We don't even use this. That's... So we can just get rid of this state machine altogether. Bye. Yeah, delete. Thank you. Can you please just fuck off? Okay, maybe you can't. Maybe you just literally cannot. Player animation walking. I mean, that's the player animation. So that could be an issue. There should be NPC walking and NPC idle. I don't think that's gonna change what's going on. Oh, I think I know what's going on. It's idle, right? So NPC idle. I think I also need to like align these, right? Maybe. No, they should just be aligned with a sprite alignment, which should be middle. Yeah, so these are the sprites. Which is aligned in the middle. Why does it not open? Oh, there we go. Center, yeah. So that is where I want them to be aligned. Let's just check if for some reason that did something. Fuck. Assertion failed. What is the issue? Failed to find a blueprint for that state machine graph. Yeah, I know, because I tried to delete it. Oh, my trial's expired. I did get a JetBrains Writer license. Because I like Writer enough to want to keep using it. But I apparently didn't input it yet. I swear we're going to get to some behavior in a moment, but we first need to get this... Oh my god, I didn't even save... the changes I made to these things. Okay, let's go over this real quick. The quick and easy changes, so it's not that big a deal. We set this to value 5. Then we pick this from the left-hand side. We check the sprite. The sprite will be at position 1 above, so -4. Yes. Animation components. Let's open that up. We'll take a look into that in a moment. And both of these can go down to that level. This seems to have done what it should have been doing. That's good. Back into content, test player. I really should start organizing this root folder as well, because it's starting to be a little bit of a mess. Maybe we'll do that at the end of today's stream. We'll see. And then this sprite will also be at location local -4. And then the issue here was in the NPC thing was... Okay, in the animation graph, we were using the player animations. That might have been the issue. It might not have been the issue. I don't see how it would be the issue. I don't see how anything actually worked to begin with that being the case. But we're just going to hope that this is something... I don't understand. How was it displaying those? Like, it wasn't displaying them as just a player sprite, was it? We don't need any of this shit, actually. Oh no, we do. Oh, we deleted something, didn't we? Oh no, we deleted something. I think we deleted something. Let's just real quick go back over here and see in the animation graph. Oh, we're literally checking whether or not it is greater than 0 for the vector length. But we're still not using, like, this or this. So we can get rid of those. Which makes this a lot more compact and less confusing. Anyway, that's all beside the point for now. Is this going to... Blueprint fails to compile. Why? References to sequences are not compatible with the current animation blueprint. The fuck are you on about? Why not? You might have just deleted those and dragged this animation back into the blueprint instead. I guess that's actually a pretty good idea. It's still dumb that would be the case, but that probably wasn't the design decision, to be fair. That probably was... Oh, hold on. Yeah, so that's the issue. It's trying to sample them from the animation source player. So it was a design decision. Can I change this? I don't think I can change this. So that means that I need to make an entire separate ass paper ZD animation blueprint. So paper ZD animation blueprint, which will be the NPC anim blueprint. Man, that's the worst thing that I've ever written. Good thing is that we can just kind of like copy all this stuff over, right? It's not that complicated. Just go here. Then oh, that's right. You can't just make it as a blueprint. I forgot about that. Which again, gonna go ahead and say it's pretty dumb. But in Paper ZD, you need to make it like this. So you need to make it a thing, and then you pick your animation source. So that's going to be NPC in this case. NPC anim blueprints, and this time I spelled everything correctly. Aren't you proud of me? In the animation graph, just yeet all this stuff in there, and then we can finally take the how do we do this again? Animation sequence play. No, not random sequence. Get sequence. No. Can I just kind of like drag these in? Is that how we do that? Of course it's not. There was a way to do this, surely. Let's just go through this list. I don't think this is really what I'm looking for. Animation, select animation by like a bunch of different stuff. Okay, here we go. Animations at the very top, NPC idle and NPC walk. So this should be... Yeah, good question. Fantastic question. The top one is walking, the bottom one is walking. Idle. I'm mixing things up. And then we have NPC walk. Okay, so this should compile, right? Except for the fact that we don't have an input direction, but we can just create that variable. That is fine. We'll need to program this in, how it gets that input direction value in a moment. Not really what I'm concerned with at the moment, to be honest, but I'm just going to open up the event graph real quick and check. Yeah, we're doing this through a Carsoup Player 2D, so we can't even do it the same way. We'll figure that out when it becomes relevant. For now, I just want to see what the fuck is your problem. Oh, yeah, this old one we can just like kind of delete altogether, right? So this one, we can, yeah, force delete. Oh, and then we need to go into the NPC blueprints. We'll get there. We'll get there one day. And we can choose the NPC animation blueprint. Okay, now everything should be in place. I'm gonna lose my mind if they're actually in the right places. That did fix it. I don't know why that fixed it, but it did. I'm not gonna complain. It fixed it. That's all that I care about. So now, I think the offset that I created as their like target location that they need to walk to is actually exactly right. Never mind. They don't seem to have collision. Did I not set that up? Overlap all dynamic. I did not. Okay. Block all. Which makes it extra funny that yesterday I was complaining about the fact that they were getting stuck on stuff. They weren't getting stuck on stuff. They were just reaching their goal. A little prematurely. Their acceptance radius was just too low. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I mean, they're not colliding with me. They're colliding with each other, and now they're getting stuck. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that amazing? Motherfuckers getting stuck. So why can I move through them still? Because they should be blocking everything, which is blocking literally everything. And the players should be... They are sticky. I don't want to call people walking into a card shop sticky, because that has implications. Yeah, you should also block everything. You are a world dynamic actor, and these things are world static. I guess that might... these are just names for collision channels. They shouldn't do anything, but let's just block all dynamic. That'll make them world dynamic. Maybe that changes something. Can I walk through these fuckers? I can't. Can they walk through me? Are they gonna get stuck on me now? They're gonna get stuck on each other. They move through me when they... Why do they become... Oh, I know why. I know why. That's just because the player is up too high. I don't know why I was getting... What? What Y level or Z level am I at? I'm at Z level 92? Why am I so fucking high? I mean, that's a question that I ask myself all the time, obviously. But, that's probably why. Yeah, let's put this at like Z level 1. Yeah, that's a lot better. Probably don't even need to use the start location, to be honest. You can just put in a player there. Okay. Final test for the navigation stuff, and then we're gonna leave it at that. They got stuck on me. Good. They also get stuck on each other. Less good. But eventually they figure it out, which is good enough for now. Again, I think, like, at the very end of this process, if I really still have any will to live left in my soul, I might make a custom movement component that just fixes all this stuff, more or less, and gets rid of all the navigation stuff from Unreal itself, because it's definitely, like, not built to be used this way. And especially on this scale, right? If I just scale everything up, like, 10 times, it's probably going to be a lot better at everything. But that will require me to rework some stuff, I think. So, for now, this is good enough. And we'll get back to this at some point. Or we won't. Fuck if I know. Let's set the acceptor already back to -1, because that might also fix the fact that they stop walking too soon. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, that doesn't fix that. Okay, I think what happens, actually, is that they stop on overlap. Is that a thing that I can... we should allow strafing, probably. Reach test includes agent radius. I don't want that. And goal radius. I don't want that either. Stop on overlap. Can I... Why can I not disable stop on overlap? Oh, stop on overlap is only for actors, probably, right? So if I set this to an actor, maybe not. Yeah, so let's just try this out. I think that'll probably fix some of my stuff as well. And now that they're allowed to strafe, maybe they'll be a little bit more intelligent about not getting stuck on these goddamn things either. I mean, they still get stuck on them. Eventually they escape though, so that's good. And they get to the proper position, at which point they don't actually... Okay, so now they actually get to the wrong position again, and that's because I changed something. Which is the big display case value. This should just be 80. We're getting there. We might have gotten here yesterday if my internet didn't die, as it tends to do. My brain was also kind of fried by that point, so we probably wouldn't have gotten to it, to be very fair with you. I'm going to go back into my project settings as well and look at the navigation stuff, because I changed the values for this. I think this is supposed to be... Can we just, like, set this back to default? Is that a thing we can do? I think this was like 32, 26, and 22 or something like that. Yeah, it just makes the margin of error around these things a little bit bigger. Which means that they probably won't be getting stuck anymore on the actual collision of these things. But also might mess up their... Well, first and foremost, what the fuck is going wrong now? I'm guessing it's got something to do with the fact that these are now... I know why you weren't moving, probably, but why weren't you? That is not a good sign. Let's try again. Why aren't you moving? NavMesh needs to be rebuilt. Sure. How do I do that? Just move it a little bit? That do it? Why does the NavMesh need to be rebuilt, guys? What the hell is going on? The way I'm gonna fix is just to put down a new nav mesh, I think. Because I can't be fucked otherwise. Make it bigger. Make it longer. Make it a little bit higher, just because. Nav mesh needs to be rebuilt. Okay, so something in these project settings I royally fucked up, I think. Well, that was definitely the wrong setting. And this is why you need to have an option to reset to defaults. Maybe you do, actually, if I just go into here, into like navigation system. That's not it. Navigation mesh. There we go. Yeah, reset to defaults would be a fantastic move. Again, let's just set this to like 32. 26 and 22 maybe. They do seem to impact each other, which I don't know what that means. That mesh needs to be rebuilt. But yes, it does. Let's try to see if we can make this force rebuild on load. I mean, I'm trying to force rebuild and it's not doing that, so that's not a good sign. We also have a thing in here somewhere that makes it a dynamic nav mesh, which is resource intensive, but look at the game we're making. I think we'll be fine. Somewhere in here, I think. Might be in the navigation system instead. Maybe not. They changed that? Dynamic. I thought that was in here somewhere, but apparently not. Let me pull up a Google tab. Where is my... Oh, there we are. Unreal nav mesh generation default setting. Needs to be rebuilt. Let's just look on up the thing we are struggling with. Oh, it's runtime generation. You're entirely right. That's the thing that I was looking for. Runtime generation, dynamic. Thank you so much. Does that... That seems to fix my issue, which is, again, not a good fix. To be very clear. Aside from the fact that I can now make my own character impact the nav mesh so that things at least will navigate around me, that's actually probably a good thing. What the fuck is your pathing? Why did you think that was a good idea? And why do you still navigate to the wrong spot? The questions that keep philosophers up at night. It's probably just there, like agent radius is too small or something like that. Let's see if this does what it needs to do now. Again, that was like kind of weird navigation from those guys, but yeah, aside from their agent navigation or their radius, and they are overlapping with each other again, actually, that's interesting. Aside from their radius maybe needing to be a little bit bigger, and now they're colliding with each other. It's super weird. Okay. Can I actually question? Can I, in that pawn movement, constrain them? Plane constraint axis setting. So I can constrain them in the z-axis. That's what I need, just in case. Cool. So at this point, I think what I need to just do is in the pawn movement here. I think we have got an agent radius. It's to 800 though. If I set this, I think the default was like 84. Surely that's not it. Surely that's not it. Yeah, that's not it. I don't think the capsule height should matter. But I also seem to remember something actually about this setting itself to a weird value in here. Yeah, it sets itself to 84 in here. So even if I increase this to like 400, if I then go and actually start the game, I think it'll be reset to 84 now. It's back to 84. So something is overriding this. Which might be somewhere in my project settings, actually. So agent radius. Unreal navmesh agent radius resetting. Something is messing with that. Okay, it's marked as a known issue. It was marked as a known issue January 10th of 2022. I mean, the nav mesh itself functions properly. It's just the radius for the agents is getting reset. So regarding the agent radius, you need to set up via navigation system support agents. Can be found in project settings. So we need to add something to this array. And that will be then NPC. And I think that just means that we have like a profile for these, right? So we can set this one now to like 120 or something. I don't know what the query extent is. A rough size of this agent used when projecting onto the navigation mesh. That's actually really quite nice to know, because that will be exactly this. We'll make it a little bit bigger. So we can say like 40, 80, 90 might be a bit much. 80 and like, I don't know, fucking 10. Good evening. Right back to you. The height and the... Oh, that might be the issue. I think that is the issue, actually. That straight up probably is the issue. No, because the height is set to -1. Does it have a height when we look at it here? It does. So maybe we also need to increase the height. Maybe that fixes it, because it is a capsule, technically speaking. Okay, so don't know what the fuck is going on here. We'll look into that in a moment. Yeah, also keeps resetting. Keeps resetting. No good. I don't know why it messes up on runtime like that, but again, that's a future issue. Your character are treating each other as obstacles. Yeah, I don't care about that. So can we just say preferred nav data? So how do we then set this up? Can we give these... One moment. Huh. Everything is getting kind of fucked. Like, specifically to do with, well, the camera as well. But with this nav mesh, like, what the hell is all this, right? No, that's what I want. I feel like it's because of the thing that I just added that fucked that up. Yes, it was. Okay, so that literally didn't do anything. I just want to test out if I try to like make this ball movement, if I make this now like 120 radius on both of these. Will that like literally do anything at all? Better question still, actually. Did that immediately reset once I clicked off of them again? It did not. Okay, so now that they have a artificially increased radius, which is not something that I can reproduce easily for whatever reason, but one issue at a time. Do they more easily avoid? No, they do not. And this is exactly why I don't want to deal with Unreal's navigation shit, because it's just like, why? What's going wrong here? I don't know. It's again probably just a scale thing. If I scale everything up by like a factor of like 3 or 4 still at this point, this would work a lot better. But I'm a little like too far in to do that at this point. So Unreal Navmesh agents getting stuck. Let's just look for that. Solution was deleting a collision sphere on the AI blueprint that was causing this error. Yeah, so that's not actually a solution. It seems that the problem is connected to the fact that your characters punch hole in the nav mesh. That's also not what's causing my issue, so let's ignore that. Yeah, nav mesh settings to prevent AI from getting stuck. Please tell me. You know what? Maybe the solution for now is literally just taking these display cases and spacing them out a little bit more. So like going in here and just saying, hey, one time more that direction, and then deselect these two. So deselect those two. One time more that direction. Deselect these two. and 1 tile more that direction. Like, maybe this is all that we like actually needed to do. Maybe they just need a little bit more room. And then, matter of fact, I'm gonna be nice to them. Gonna give them a little bit more room in this direction as well. Does that fix anything? Because if that fixes stuff, I'm all for that. Because I was gonna spread them out more anyway. Let's give them a difficult task, though. Let's still have them run through this one. Do they stop getting stuck? Okay, that is the dumbest way ever to get stuck. What actually is your issue? I said half an hour ago that we were going to stop messing with navigation stuff. Yet here we are. Let's not use a partial path. See what that does. Maybe that resets them or something and makes them act more intelligent. I'm kind of grasping at straws. Once they reach it, though, I want them to be able to buy it, which means that they need to, like, claim the consideration. Yeah, that's still a really fucking weird way to get stuck, my dude. Like, actually, what the fuck? I can't let it go. I'm sorry. I just can't let it go. Okay, so, but even if the... So this is the thing, right? Even if the nav mesh radius is 84... I guess that doesn't maybe include, like, some of these corners? So let's set this to 70. It's not great because now it doesn't fully encompass the entire sprite, I don't think. Yeah, there's a little bit of hair sticking out. I'm just going to go even further, and I'm going to say this is going to be like 33. Make that collision a little bit smaller. Does that fix it? Is it going to look bad? I don't know, and I probably definitely maybe. Also, thanks for the follow on Twitch. I don't know if I'll be streaming on Twitch a lot in the future because my internet can't really maintain 2 streams at once, and Restream is wonderful, but also oh! Are they getting stuck on each other? I think they're unable to reach. Yeah, that's not the issue. Well, because they're not, to be clear, they're not trying to move to here. They're trying to move to, like, over here. So they can reach that. That's not the issue. The issue is that they're getting stuck here. And then they... But I think they're getting stuck on each other. If I just remove one of these, I think that might... And to be clear, removing that one character doesn't actually solve the issue, because there's going to be multiple characters wandering around here. But I just want to see whether or not they... Yeah, they're getting stuck on this. But, like, this is such what I run into always with Unreal's navigation system, is the fact that these things are so fucking, like, dumb that they will just walk into, like, this negative space here and then get stuck and not know what to do. Like, dude, that's clearly not part of the nav mesh. Why the fuck are you walking in there? I can make them... somewhere in here. There's a navigation mesh, right? So I can make these values smaller again. I think I set them to like 16, 8, and like 6 at the start of the stream. Or before the start of the stream, rather. And then the agent radius should be higher. Hold on, does it still mess up my... No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's not part of the issue. Okay, the nav mesh is a lot tighter now. Which is effectively the same as just scaling everything up a little bit, but... Cool, okay. That seems to solve part of the issue. Acceptance radius is 0. That should actually be like 1. Because otherwise it's never going to be on the actual like exact float value position. Because that's just kind of how floats work. And I do need him to stop walking at some point. And okay, so now the question will be, like, that's still... Why don't you stop walking? I should add in the second one as well for testing purposes again. I also should just start myself with a card in my inventory instead of having to take it out of the chest every single time. So why are you walking? Or rather, why do you have the walking animation going on? You're still moving to target. Ah, that's because this doesn't proc, does it? Why not? Like, we don't need to use that anymore because we just have the move to node now. So that's kind of weird. Let's see. Why won't you stop moving? What are you trying to move to, my dude? Acceptance radius is probably really small. The acceptance radius is like 5, which should be plenty. Because like 5 units on this scale is quite big. If I set him 5 units away, like he... Oh, now he stopped moving. No, he's still moving. Is he? He's never going... Okay, so this is kind of weird as well. Because it's firing this one every so often. It's just never going into the wait node. It's just something fucked about this entirely. So, that means that... I guess allow partial path is making this fail, which means that it's never getting to the wait node. Because it's not actually getting to the exact position within the... It's weird. It's weird with how this works. Every time I work with navigation, I end up fighting the navigation system more than anything else. Okay, so there is actually an issue here, because we can't just move on now. Because if it gets stuck in this, it's never going to get to this, so we can't do any other, like, behavior tree, like AI decision stuff. So let's just set this to a big number, like 50. See if that fixes things. Still, again, not actually a good solution. Because now it's going to stop at a weird looking place. If it's allowed to stop too far away. And even that doesn't do it. It might be because it's technically too far away from the nav mesh. Is that it? I think that might be it. Yeah, I think that's what we're going for. Because it's projecting onto the nav mesh. But if we just don't project goal location, that might make it not move at all. Or that might solve this issue. And after that, we're going to just increase it to a bigger number. It does make it still move, but maybe now it'll, like the move to node tests the non-projected. No. We're going to set it to 500. 50 units should do it. This is not going to make a difference. Like, if this makes a difference, I'm losing my mind. Unless it is to do with the fact that he is too far under the nav mesh. But yeah, this doesn't make a difference. I'll just go to the behavior tree again. Oh, it actually does make a difference. Oh, but in that case, I should have just checked the behavior tree. Because it might just be stuck in the animation because I didn't actually program the animation stuff yet. Which is weird because it should be taking the character's velocity, and if it's not moving... But it might be moving ever so slightly still. No, it shouldn't actually. I don't know. Yeah, it is in the wait node. Okay, so it was an acceptance radius thing, maybe? Let's set this back to 5. Because it probably was actually to do with the fact that it was being projected onto the nav mesh. So it's comparing to a position on the nav mesh, which is, again, higher a little bit in 3D space than the actual floor itself. Yeah, so it was that. Okay, cool. Another reason why Unreal is just not built to use for 2D is 2D viable in Unreal 5? I would say if you already know Unreal reasonably well, you can make it work. If you're looking for an engine to do something 2D in, and you don't like have Unreal as your like standard default engine that you do work in yet, I don't think you should be getting into it for 2D. I don't think it is well developed enough for that. It's very much a 3D engine, which is like pretending to do 2D stuff, right? Everything here is in a 3D space, and while engines like Unity and Godot technically do that as well, like the entire interface is built much more for 2D, and they actually like their collisions are actually done in 2D instead of being like 3D, but just very thin, which results in stuff like this, right? It's this navigation mesh exists ever so slightly above the floor, so this character doesn't actually technically ever get to its destination point because it's projected on the navigation mesh. Now you can turn that off. We figured that out right now, but like it's not made for 2D, and you can feel that. So, yeah. Be prepared for a lot of weirdness if you do use it. And if you're looking for an engine like fresh from nothing, yeah, probably not the best to use, to be honest. Okay, but now that we have that, we can actually start getting into some economy stuff. I want to check one more thing, actually. I want to check what happens when I have two NPCs running to the same card, which shouldn't happen in the actual game, because the moment one NPC like claims a card to move toward, it should remove it from the list. Yeah, so again, navigation is just fucked. Yeah, this is just like, congratulations, you made it. Your friend got stuck on a display case. I don't know, man. We're just gonna kind of deal with this for now, and we'll get back to this. We have to make custom movement. At this point, I think. I think we can't rely on this navmesh stuff. Because it's just consistently giving problems. Maybe I shouldn't allow partial path. But I don't think that is relevant to what we're doing here. Because a partial path is a path that is like, just get as close as you can when a navmesh is broken up. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that this fucker tries to walk through this, even though there's a gap in the navmesh here. He literally just walks into a gap in the navmesh, right? Yeah. Why do you think this is a good idea? Why don't you just move like this? Or move like that? Why do you think moving like this and then getting stuck on this thing will help you? Like, at all? What do you expect to happen here, right? Move a little bit more in this direction and then you're on the edge of the navmesh. Congratulations, you didn't do shit. What about EQS to solve it? I started doing something like that, but at this point, I think just doing away with the navigation system and just making my own like basic logic for making these guys move around just makes more sense. I had an EQS system set up at some point, which we can make that as like a band-aid solution, and if it's a good enough band-aid solution, we'll just stick with it. But we had this thing where we have like the distance to the courier, and then we also had a test for the distance to the display case that we're trying to move toward. So we would like score inverse linear for the distance to the courier. So the thing that is the closest to the courier, and then the thing that is the closest to the display case as well. And I think the way we like hacked that together yesterday was with a service for an EQS on here. But that gets kind of tricky in a way, because now we need to constantly be updating this. Right, so we have the Blackboard key that we're setting this to will be our like yeah, target location. So this will probably perform better. As in, the output will be more desirable, but it's also, I feel a little uneasy doing it this way. Because if they reach like one of the in-between points, even that doesn't do much. Do you really need capsule collision on those NPCs? They're not capsules, they're just boxes, and yes, because otherwise I can walk through them. And they can walk through each other. So, like, there needs to be collision on this. Because And same for the display case, right? I don't want to be able to walk through them. So, like, I can't just turn off the collision for them. If I do that, like, great, now they'll just move through the display cases, right? That's not really a solution. I can just set these to no collision. And they'll navigate. I mean, you're right about that. They will 1000% navigate, but they'll also, like, I can just walk through them now, which is one thing, but they're also going to still get stuck on the nav mesh void. What the fuck? How does that even happen? Path nodes around the display case. It can pick. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Like in the EQS you mean? Or do you mean like just putting stuff in the map? Because we do have like this like pathfinding thing. I'm gonna be real with you, I don't really understand how this pathfinding works. Like path exists from courier. Grey Rose Revolution. Hello. I'm doing good. Slightly confused and frustrated with Unreal's navigation system, but aside from that, good. So the only other thing that I had in mind is using EQS to do what I wanted to do before, and that is just make it move in straight lines, like only in the X and Y at any given time. So that it doesn't do this diagonal bullshit, because that is the reason that it's getting stuck. Can do that with EQS, but I think it's just easier at that point to just make custom movement. Try using move to actor. It doesn't move to the actor. It moves to a location under the actor. And it needs to. Which... I'm pretty sure that uses the same stuff beneath, like, under the hood anyway. But we can try. Have you tweaked movement component nav mesh settings yet? I've been messing around with like a lot of settings for like an hour at this point. Well, I should actually be doing different stuff. Like at this point, I just need to get it to work good enough to the point where I can start working on the rest of the behavior tree. And make sure that they can like reach their goal somewhat reasonably. And not do this. So I guess there's one other thing that I can do. I don't know how that's going to impact them. But it might actually temporarily fix the issue, and that is make sure that this display case doesn't make a hole in the nav mesh. Which will probably fuck it up in a different way. Because then they think that I'll be able to walk through it, but they might be able to just like kind of slide along it when they try to do that. Instead of getting stuck outside the nav mesh. Which is progress, I guess. Right? So, there is like somewhere in here. I think it is in the. Actually, I think it is in here somewhere. Nav. Fill collision underneath from nav mesh. I don't even have that turned on. And why does it block the nav mesh? Ah, because the sprite itself has collision. So let's just turn off the collision for the sprite for the time being. Hello? Hello? Oh, I had that turned on. Okay. Hello? Just can never affect nav mesh false. There we go. So now they're not affecting the nav mesh anymore. They're also at different heights, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Fucking let's see. I don't know. It's probably going to be fucked in an entirely different way. Because now they're going to think that they can move through these, which they definitely cannot, but that might still be... Like, it's kind of messed up, right? But this is actually preferable. It's really messed up, but it's technically... Why do you not stop moving? Why did you not stop moving? Oh, because the animation stuff. Okay, specific. That's fine. Okay, let's see. Another Unreal Engine. Yeah, I use Unreal Engine. Have you tweaked? Yeah. Maybe the spawn points to be the center of all boxes so it's easy to navigate. That still doesn't actually solve the issue, though. Like this is all very nice band-aids, and I appreciate that, but like especially if there's going to be multiple characters walking around as well, that's going to end up like resulting in problems. So I don't think that really, yeah. Probably should not disturb you if your development leave. I mean, we can just hang out and talk, right? I'm doing some Mario 64 stuff. Decided to look up some game dev videos. I'm not sure about nav mesh settings for AI controller. Might be worth checking it out. The AI controller is actually something that I haven't checked out. That's good. How difficult would say 2D online development be in Unreal Engine? Depending on what you mean by online, do you like online multiplayer? Because the 2D aspect of it doesn't really impact anything about replication. Like, that still works all the same. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with this for now. It sucks, but we need to actually like get some stuff done at some point. So, when we pick a display case, we actually should like we have big display case. When we do that, what we want to do is also remove it from the potential cards to buy. Yes, because we'll have a reference to it on the blackboard at that point, and if we decide to not buy it, we can put it back in the list for somebody else to look at. Yeah, that makes sense. So in that case, we'll get our game mode, and we will remove case with card. And the thing that we're going to be removing will be the case that we picked. This should now make it so that only one of the characters goes in for a card at any given time. I think that's just the most logical way to do this. So yeah, the 2D aspect of it doesn't really impact, I don't think, the replication of things, because like whether you do something 2D or 3D, like it's all just, I suppose maybe you're missing out on a couple of animation blueprint things that are automatically replicated usually, which wouldn't be with Paper ZD. I don't know about that. But as, like, aside from that, it's like the graphics of your game don't actually end up impacting much about the replication stuff. So yeah, only one of them actually moves, because only one of them can claim interest in any given card. So now if I put in a card here, the other guy will walk over to this one instead. Anytime, whenever you feel like it. Okay, now we need to start. Okay, now we need to start making it decide whether or not it wants to buy it. For now, I think we're just going to make that a 50-50. Eventually, we'll put in some kind of formula where it takes in the value that we're trying to sell it for and compares it to the actual value of the card in the game economy and decides, like, based on that, whether or not it wants to buy it with some randomness in there as well. Are there any difference between replication for pawns and characters? I think characters by default have their movement replicated with the character movement component already. I don't know if normal like pawn movement components are automatically replicated as well. I don't think so. So that's another thing that if you're like making a 2D game, you're probably not going to be using a character blueprint. So you're not going to be using the character movement, most likely. Maybe you are. I don't know what kind of game you're thinking about making. But if you're not using the character blueprint, I think there's a lot of things that you probably won't have the automatic replication for. Can you explain what you're making? I'm making a side project, which is kind of gone on way too long. And we're making like a trading card tycoon game. So you're running this trading card shop, people come in, buy cards, you buy booster packs, you sell the cards, and that's kind of everything there is to it. Again, it's supposed to be a side project. I've just been working on it for 2 months. Which is kind of sad. But I also tend to get distracted easily on stream. So let's make a... let's make a task that decides whether or not they want to buy. I don't know if behavior traits are really the way to do this, to be honest with you. Maybe it's easier to just, like, actually code this. Like as functions, just on the class itself. We've been doing this as behavior tree. I don't know that we need to. Strangely enough. Paper ZD character maybe auto replicates potentially. It could be. But I don't have high hopes because Paper ZD character I don't think inherits from character itself. So then the developer would be let's just check it out real quick. Paper ZD character. Oh no, that does actually inherit from character. So it would. Yes, no, it would, definitely. So if you're using Paper ZD character, unlike my stupid ass who's using pawn, that probably would replicate movement automatically at least. So that would save you quite a bit. So yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do away with the behavior tree. The more I think about it, the less I think it makes sense to use the behavior tree. So what we'll do instead is we will use the think we have like an NPC class. Do we not have an NPC class? We just make this a character as just a 2D character. The reason I'm thinking a behavior tree doesn't actually make a lot of sense is because like, it's just going to be one big sequence, right? We pick a blackboard case to move to. Maybe. We pick a blackboard case to move to. Then we move to that target location. Then we decide whether or not we want to buy it. And from there, we kind of have a split, right? If we don't want to buy it, we can potentially restart the entire thing over again, or we can leave. But that's more of like a state machine than a behavior tree, and I'm not using state trees because fuck that. So yeah, I think we're just gonna code this in C++, to be honest with you. So let's make a C++ class for this. Which will be a 2D character, which is a class that I made myself. That's not from PaperZD. And this will be NPC. Yeah, definitely try to reparent it instead of just restarting from the from scratch, because that probably will save you a lot of time. Okay, so this guy is going to need to have some logic. I guess we can do a lot of stuff. Card asset, inventory components, this game mode, big display case. There's a lot of code that we can just kind of lift from here, right? So let's maybe put this down here. Just split things up even more. Why won't we? And then we can, in the NPC, let's make a void big display case. Should that be a void? I don't know, maybe not. And from there, we take this cast, but the world context object is going to be a lot simpler. You need to use a include for that. You need to use an include for this as well. And then the world context object is just going to be this, which is so much more straightforward. Do we have... we have a parentheses too little. Let's just put that on the next slide for readability. So we've got our game mode, then we make a display case variable, get random case with card, so we can copy that over. Blackboard components, if we get a display case not picked, we just early return, I suppose. Otherwise, I think we'll want to have a display case target value on this guy. So we have a case targets, which probably means that we actually can just set that this way. Probably makes most sense to do that, yeah. So if that's null, we return early. And otherwise we... Okay, so now we need to do some move to shenanigans. Anyway, let's see. Is anything interesting happening in chat since I looked over 3 seconds ago? Yeah, not yet. Okay, cool. We have the case pick, so with a variable. Then we have the move to location. Let's just make that a variable for now as well. Move to location equals target case get actor location plus that offset. That offset's still going to be the same locally. Display case is incomplete. Oh, I don't have an include for that. I will in a second. There we go. So we have the move to location, which I guess doesn't need to be a member, but yeah, it doesn't need to be a member actually. There's no good reason for it to be. Now, get controller. Do we have get AI controller? No, we just have get controller. And we need to, okay, so we have a AI controller, pointer, AI controller. It probably should be its own function, but we'll separate these into different functions in a moment. AI controller equals cast to a AI controller, and we will be casting the get controller. Not with double parentheses, please. And then once we have that AI controller from there, we can move to location, and we'll move to the move to location. Does that take in any other arguments? It does not. So this is the exact same code that we had in the behavior tree, but kind of just simplified, to be honest with you. So we don't need this anymore. Actually, does this give like a... Does it have like a version which takes in a callback? No, move to... I think it's move to actor has a callback, maybe? There's one of these versions that has a callback when it ends. Maybe it's only in Blueprint. But surely that is an asynchronous thing, right? That's an async task. So... Oh, maybe it actually just returns... Hold on. Does it return something that I can... It returns a result. Like at some point. Unreal. This feels like a ChatGPT type of thing. In Unreal using C++, I'm trying to move an actor through AI controller to a location. I want to run a next function once the actor has arrived at set location. Yeah, move to location. Let's see. Okay, we need to set it up a little bit differently. So we have like a lot of stuff going on here, right? We make F nav location. Then we need the U navigation system V1 as a value or as a pointer. And now if both of those are correct, the target location with acceptance radius and then the nav location, that's got a random navigable point in a radius. Okay, that makes sense. Then we make a move request and that we set our goal location. There we set our acceptance radius again. Oh, this is just the radius for getting the random navigable point in a radius. Okay, that's fair. We make a path following results. And there we set the move to the move request. And in there we do on move completed delegates and we add the callback. So that is a massive pain in the ass. But this is also ChatGPT. So ChatGPT sometimes just doesn't give good answers. So I'm going to Google also. Unreal C++ move to location callback. Surely I'm not the first person to question this. Okay, I think I found something here. One moment. If you're working with an AI controller, there's already a default callback being called automatically. It's a virtual, so you can add your own logic to it on move completed. It's also called when a move finishes, fails, or is interrupted. On your derived controller, simply override it. So set the callback. So we have my AI controller, get path, follow component. Okay, so we can just, this is move to location. And then I think from there, we can, in AI controller, get path following components, it says. And then from there, we check the on move finished, deprecated. On request finished. Okay, sure. On request finished. Dot add. U objects. This. And then address of the function that we're going to run then. So void choose to buy card. Let's implement that so that this stops screaming at me mostly. Choose to buy card. No. No viable function. Why not? Oh, because it needs to have the proper signature. Um, yeah, so this just seems like a whole bunch of bullshit, doesn't it? Well, actually, no, because this now does seem to work. So if I just put this in here as well, this seems to work. So we just need to forward declare this, I'm guessing. Yeah, add forward declaration. And now you start screaming at me again? Why is that? Argument types, ANPC for... So if we, instead of add U object, we just use the add, what do we need to put in there? No. I think add U object is the way to do it. Yeah, we're on to add U object, so we do need to do this. Hold on. Can we see in here? We have the FI request ID and then const path for the results reference. I guess this needs to be const. That might be why it's yelling at me. Or not. What's wrong with this code, please? ChatGPT, do tell me. Null check for, yeah, I don't care. Proper delegate binding. Use F on request finish delegate properly to ensure it's bound only once. Also don't care. Initialization, also don't care. I know that all makes sense, and I should do that, but that doesn't fix, like, syntax errors. Unless you don't need to put in a... Hold on, do you not need to put in... So yeah, it is this, and then address of class function. I'm just gonna try and build this. Oh, I think actually this needs to be a U function as well. I always mess that up. That's not going to fix this issue, but I'm going to try and build this because it feels like this is just a false positive at this point. If I'm being 1000% real with you. And if not, maybe it'll at least give me some more useful feedback than it has right now. Yeah, so that's actually unrelated, I think. Maybe. Case target is undeclared identifier. Is it though? I guess it needs to be forward declared. Did I not do that? What? No. What made you think that you should do that? For declaration, please. Why does it do it in the namespace? I don't know. That might be the thing that's fucking me up. Guess we'll just do an include. And this is a class. That's not going to fix this. Which, does this have that include as well? It does. Probably doesn't need it. Let's try again. Yeah, so that's a problem. Okay, so let's think. Why would that be? Because, oh, it's probably not able to take in, maybe. Let's try to see if we put in the AI controller. If it's, I mean, of course, that's not going to work. The more I think about it, the less this seems to make sense to do it this way. Maybe. It's the funniest damn thing, right? Because we're still getting stuck on the movement thing. um, so, okay, let's just ignore this C++ ID. And instead, what we might do because the whole callback situation is kind of throwing me for a loop, and I don't want to really put in time and effort into that right now. While I am 100% aware of the fact that in Blueprint, I just have a node that has like a callback pin. So I'm just going to use that. I'm just going to make this code in Blueprint. And I don't like it either, but I'm going to. So let's just make a event here, custom event. Pick display case, and we're just going to step-by-step copy this. So we'll get a get game mode, cast to TCG Tycoon game mode. Let's make that into a function actually, so that we don't have that as a member. Actually, might as well just make this a member and begin play. There we go. We're going to be using this a lot anyway, so promote a variable. It's fine. Then we get random whatchamacallit, we check is valid. If not, we don't do anything. If it is, we move to get AI controller, reference to self, move to actor or location, I think, is the one we need. Yeah, this has a on move finished. That's the one I wanted. I wonder where this exists, actually. Like, surely this is a part of a... Maybe it's just specifically, yeah, it's a latent now, so it probably doesn't exist in C++. Target is AI task move 2. Yeah, so that's a thing in and of itself. Okay, so the goal location will be our thing that we returned. Get actor location. And to that, we're going to add, what was it? Again, 4080. 4080 goal location. And when we do that, we're going to custom events, decide by card. This might be better off as a function, actually. So let's do that. Decide by card. And he will, for now, just get a random bool. Which will return. For now, it's just going to be as easy as that. We'll, again, do some more like math with this in the future. But I just need to test whether or not this works at all to begin with. So if we decide to buy the card, we put in a branch node. We get the card case that we're trying to buy from, and we have like a get value, get sales value. I don't have any variables on anything. That keep track of my money. I just realized. I guess we'll just like throw some of that into the game mode. Because it doesn't need to be on the character. We already have a reference to the game mode, so that'll be fine. Where's the game mode? Game mode, game mode. There we go. That can be a very easy U property blueprint read write. Floats money. See how much faster and easier this is now? Should have done this an hour ago. Which again, we might, I don't know, we might refine some of this. If this new move 2 works well enough, we'll probably stick with this, to be honest with you. I don't know. We might not. The wonderful thing is that we maybe don't even need to make a custom movement component, so we can just make a custom movement function instead. Which we then do entirely in Blueprint, sadly, but I'll be fine. Okay, so if we buy the card, we get our game mode again, which is just a value that we have, so no worries about that. And we get money. We set money to money plus the value. I'm already missing C++. But we'll be fine. And then we need to remove the card from that case. And I'm going to be real with you, I'm not entirely sure how those cases work anymore. Display case. Do we have any blueprint code for this? Oh, we actually kind of do. Oh, we just need to remove the one card from the inventory component. No, duh. And then we need to run set card visibility. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that might be an issue, actually. We also need to check... Um... the length of this array. This needs to be greater than 0. I don't know that this will crash, because I think Blueprint builds in stuff against that, because I've made this mistake a bunch in the past, and I don't think it's resulted in crashes, but we just shoot. So if this is not, we will still set visibility to false. And we still have the is valid check in here. For self? Self is always gonna be valid. So I don't know what the fuck I was thinking with that. I'll just add a separate visibility node for this. Just in case. So yeah, now we should be able to just remove card. So if we make a custom event remove card, we get our inventory components, and we I guess we just get the cards and we clear, and then we set card visibility after that. It's kind of everything there is to it. And that will get us the display case again, which is this. We remove the card. That should probably be... Hold on. That doesn't make sense. What? It's on a display case. We did compile that. We did... Oh, we probably didn't save it. That's probably the issue. Because this is the display case, right? Yeah. Why are you... Let's just call it clear card. See if that fixes it. Maybe it's a weird naming conflict. Clear... No. It's not. Oh, it's not a blue... We're not... It's not a blueprint reference. Well, we can fix that. Cost to BP display case. Not ideal. Probably should make that a C++ function, but at this point I am too far beyond caring. Clear card. There we go. And if it decides not to buy, we just have a random bool again for now. We might for now it's just going to be a random bool. And if that bool is true, it just picks display case again. So pick display case. If that bool is false, we for now we'll just destroy actor. When a display case is picked, though, get random case with card. Does that already? No. So we also need to, when we do this, get cards That's cases with cards. And then we remove item. The item we remove is the thing that we just chose. And if we end up deciding to not buy, we put it back in. So we take this and we add unique, just in case it was already in there for some reason. Don't want to be adding it twice. And we add it back in because we won't have removed it. Okay. That was a much easier and faster way to do this. So now, I think... big display case. Let's see. If not valid, that doesn't... Okay, so... I guess what we do... Actually, no. We don't want a big display case here again. Because what we do, I think, is we set a timer by event. Why not remove the card when bought instead of removing it and then adding it back when we cancel? Because if I remove it, if I don't remove it from... This is just from an array. It's not getting removed from the actual display case. This is just an array that NPCs can look at and pick a random one out of to decide which one they will want to walk to then decide whether or not they want to buy it. And I don't want two NPCs walking to the same display case, because that ends up with, if then one of the NPCs buys the card and the other one still thinks there's a card inside there, then I need to start programming in like edge cases for what if an NPC gets to a display case after the card has been removed. Instead, I just make it impossible for two NPCs to have interest in the same card. This is just a list of available cards. This doesn't actually remove it from the display case itself, because that's what this function does. So that's why. It would probably like feel a little bit more natural for two characters to be able to go to the same case and then one of them to buy and then the other one to have to like go find another one, to be fair. But I really kind of just don't feel like putting in all the work to make all that work. Well, this is a pretty decent solution. Yeah, okay, so we're doing create events. Nope, create events, custom events. Try pick target case. And here we actually need to think for a moment. Because if he's already... If he's already moving toward a case, we shouldn't overwrite that. Definitely should be a looping. It should be like once every 10 seconds or so. I guess we just add in a bool for has targets. And we set that to true at the very beginning here. And then at every single one of these end positions, except destroy actor, I suppose. That doesn't need to clear up, but this needs to clear it. And then this needs to set that back to false. And then every 10 seconds, we just check, hey, do you have a target yet? We do that in a branching node. And if you don't have a target, then you pick a display case. Okay, in theory, we should have everything set up in Blueprint now for this to work, instead of through behavior trees, which again, I think that this makes more sense because we're kind of simulating a state tree almost with this, or a state machine at least. So yeah, we've got one of them has interest in this thing now. But that's also because it still is running the behavior tree. So let me real quick disconnect that in the AI controller because I want to know. Honestly, probably should be a little less than 10 seconds of wait time for testing purposes, but okay, we still have one of them that has interest. Still have this entire fucking issue, but again, we'll work on that at some point. It doesn't seem like he decided to buy, I think. Let's make a couple of display cases here. We also have a save and loading feature issue still. Oh, he did buy it, actually. And now he decided not to buy it, and he just ceases to exist. Okay, that's kind of cool. Why doesn't the other dude do anything? Is my question. Why doesn't he move? Like, what's going on with you, mate? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you even doing anything at all? I don't think you're doing anything at all. Oh, he has target true? So he tries to pick a display case. Is he moving now? He's not moving. So no, he doesn't try to pick a display case because this doesn't run. But this says that that's false. So why are you like this? Get return none. You need to set it to true after the is valid check. Yeah, but the value isn't actually true. The value still is false. I mean, you're right about that being a better idea. Doing it a little bit differently. I'm just setting it equal to whether or not we're able to remove that card. Because if it somehow is true, this will also set it back to false. I guess what happens is that they're trying to do it within the same frame because they spawn at the same time. And since there was only one card at the time, that kind of fucked it up. Maybe? We'll see. Hopefully this will... I don't know, like, what's sell for 10 coins? Or gold, or whatever. Okay, so now you try to move. And now he also tries to move. Okay, so they both have their own targets that they're going to be moving toward. They, at some point, decide whether or not they want to buy it. If they want to buy it, he just kind of sticks around. And then I think in a couple of seconds, he's going to be moving onto the next one. And then he decides whether or not he want to buy it. This one didn't want to buy it, clearly. He wants to buy it. He also didn't want to buy it. But because he didn't buy it, this one is now back on the list. Okay, so my rudimentary AI works, is what we learned, and that's really good. I like that. So now, I need to display how much money I have, I think. I think that's the next logical thing to do, which is going to be easy, right? We just make a user interface, widget blueprints. I don't really care about performance. This is just going to be the HUD. And for ease of use, it's going to be a canvas panel, which is going to have some text. And the text is going to be a variable. We're just going to throw this into the tick event, which is not great, I know, but I don't care. Set text from string. String to text. To text. Same thing. We'll append. Money. And we'll get that money from the game mode. Get game mode. Cost to TCG type game mode. Just make it a variable. Get money. Actually, to text, I think, because then we can say we don't want any fractional digits. Otherwise, it's going to do weird stuff. And then we go back to string. Yeah, not exactly optimal, I know. But this one now in our test player, which we really should rename from test player to something more permanent. We create widgets, which will be our HUD. And we simply add to viewport. Realistically, every time we update that money, we should just send through a event dispatcher to update that value instead, so that it doesn't update it every frame. It's one widget. We'll be fine. It'll be okay. Don't you worry about it. We have the money. We can start doing this stuff. Put one on for here, and we say sell that for 100 coins or 100 euros or $100, 100 yen for all I care, right? And then this one we sell for like 90 instead. And then this one we try to sell for 10. And now we just check the goddamn navigation, my dude. he just didn't like the navigation. He just yeeted himself to get rid of the navigation issues. Okay, so he doesn't like any of my cards, which is bullshit because it's literally just a coin flip every single time. I just want you to buy one of my cards. Don't yeet yourself. He bought the thing, and I now have 10 money, which means my economy technically works. So the game is technically playable. It's kind of shit, but it's technically playable. So, oh, my microphone's been quite loud. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware. And now he's bought the last card as well, without committing Sudoku. So now he's just going to stand here forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I am rich. I've got 200 money. So, at this point, I need to take a look into what is going on with the saving and loading of the display case, because something is going wrong there as well, I think. Maybe a fix that? I don't remember. I guess we... okay, so to be fair, by the way, they spawn at the same time now. In the actual gameplay, customers are just going to be like spawning in on a timer as well, just randomly every so often. Oh, I need to give them values. I need to give them values. You keep being stuck. Keep being stuck, please. 50. No, 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 no. Yeah, be stuck. Be stuck. Race against the clock. Race against the AI. There we go. So, yeah, there was an issue with... I'm just going to kind of... I can block them from buying them by just standing right there. That's kind of funny. But yeah, there was an issue with... Oh, it keeps the... Oh, when they buy, it also keeps the value that I assigned to the previous card. Probably should wipe that as well. So if I... save and then I load. This does have the card in it still. This also still has the card in it. Did I fix that issue? It seems like I fixed that issue. It even has the values. What it doesn't do on load is loop through all of these to check whether or not they have cards in them. So it doesn't actually visually update. I feel like that dude tried to buy the same card as the alive dude somehow. Maybe it caused him to walk the same frames. No, that's not the issue, I don't think. The dead guy just tried to navigate through the alive guy, I think. And when the alive guy decided I don't want to buy the card, like they have a 50% chance of destroying themselves. I think that's just what happened. I don't think they tried to buy the same card. But they start movement at the same frame, right? So we can, just for demonstrational purposes, we can say random floats in range instead here. And then every instance will like do this every 6 to 10 seconds instead. So that they won't start movement at the same time. And that'll probably fix them getting stuck on each other a little bit. Interesting question though. If I load these in, they should see them as being populated display cases, I think. Oh no, they won't, because they're not being added. They're not being added to the array. So my load game function also needs to have something to deal with that, I think. Yeah, it does. But the issue is that some of this is done on Blueprint. But that's not actually that big a deal. So yeah, we'll just remove this. We'll just remove the set card visibility. We'll get back to that. That's on the display case, right? So we'll just make that a... we could just make that a C++ function to begin with, but I don't really feel like copying over that code into C++ right now. So what we can do is, that's the display case header file. That's not a display case header file. That's a big display case. Display case header file. There we go. We can just make this a U function blueprint implementable event. What did we call it again? What was the name for it? Set card visibility. Void set card visibility. Doesn't even take in anything. Just need to not implement it in blueprints. We'll do that in a moment. Compile and save. So yeah, we can just hook up that blueprint implementable event now to our blueprint, and then we can actually call it from C++ and we'll execute the blueprint code instead. What do you enjoy to code the most and the least? That's a good question. I generally like to set up I guess what I like to do is I like to code components, because having modularity and creating systems that are modular and expandable and scalable is always a nice challenge. So I guess I like doing that the most. Like the inventory series that I did on my channel is a great example, and the inventory we have in this game is like a simplified version of that. I like doing that kind of stuff. That's really fun to do. What do I like the least? That would probably be... I would say the thing that I like coding the least is probably... Well, anything that's to do with navigation, as we discovered in today's stream. Like, I don't like dealing with navigation system. But I don't know if that's a coding thing or if that's just like navigation is just a pain in general, specifically with what I'm doing with it now, because they can only move in 2 directions anyway and stuff. So maybe that, I don't know. There's also... I'm trying to think about my main project. What things do I dislike making in there, as far as coding goes? Like I don't like making animations, but that's not coding. I don't know if there's necessarily a specific type of thing that I don't like coding, to be fair. I kind of like it all. What I don't like doing is going back over code that is months old and where I have to read my old stuff and think, what the hell was I doing here? And I didn't comment half of it. So dealing with tech debt, I suppose I don't like, but nobody likes doing that. So that's a bit of a cheap answer. And I don't like it when something is kind of obtuse to do in C++ and it forces me to do all this in Blueprint. Also don't like that, but I set card visibility. So we can do that now, right? And then we can set card visibility. Oh, it's not Blueprint callable. That's kind of bullshit, right? If it's a blueprint implementable event, do I really need to also mark it as a blueprint callable? I guess that kind of does make sense still. Yeah, no, there's definitely... Yeah, no, that does make sense. Anyway, we can kind of ignore that for now. We can go back into our game mode here, which is in... there. And... there. And we can in our... I think we only need to do this in the load game. So void set display cases. Oh, don't want to comment that. I wanted to implement it. Those buttons are right next to each other. Apparently. So I guess what we do here is we just go over... good question. What do we go over? We have a array here of all the display cases. Oh, we have the display case manager, right? Yeah, so we have the display case manager. So we can do a for loop, or for each loop rather. So for a display case pointer display case, in display case manager display cases, we check I guess if our display case, we have a has card, right? We're using the function that I made a week ago where I said I don't know if it's going to be useful. It's useful. I don't like UI code. That's actually a really good answer. I don't like doing UI stuff because it is annoying. But it's also because I don't like doing UI in general because I suck at graphic design. Excluding thumbnail design. I think I'm decent at thumbnail design sometimes. But that's because I've been doing YouTube for like 300 years. So if the display case has a card, we do display case set card visibility. I guess we can just do set card visibility on everything actually, but it doesn't matter. And then we take our cards, cases with cards, and we add unique, and the thing we add is the display case. So that should, I think, now I've updated our loading system. To also this, hold on. Very important part to that is actually including that function in there. So what did we call this? Set display cases. So yeah, probably want that to be in our load game function. This is actually starting to be a pretty big big class. It's a game mode, makes sense. But yeah, UI related stuff is... I'll open my other project in a moment once we know that this works. I'll show you some of the absolutely messy nightmare of blueprint spaghetti that my player HUD is in there. It's like actually the worst. There are some compiler errors here. Where are they? Oh yeah, that's set card visibility. We needed to add that back in again anyway. Set card visibility. It's the same name, but I guess it's like different memory address or something like that now. There were other things as well that had this issue. The display inventory screen, that makes perfect sense. That would have a set card visibility. Yeah, set card visibility. Speaking about UI related code, this. Then I did like this, right? Just don't look at it. It's kind of embarrassing. The inventory system that I made, though, is also like a lot of UI code, and I did like doing that, so it's a little of both, I suppose. It displays the cards in the cases where there are cards. And they can now pick those display cases to go to. So our loading system is up to date with everything. Our navigation still fucking blows. But we'll fix that at some point. And we made some money. So we technically have, again, we actually have a function in game, technically speaking. By the way, in the finished game, the NPCs aren't just going to pop out of existence if they decide that they don't want to buy another card. They will walk out of the shop and then cease to exist. You're talking about navigation system. I don't know how bad that is. I'm walking up. I'm having issues forming a sentence. My caffeine is running out. um, I'm running into some issues that are pretty specific, I feel. I don't think if I just was making a normal game in Unreal, I would be running into these issues. I run into similar issues with my main project, but those can be easily fixed with just like doing a little bit of EQS sampling instead. So for this specifically, I want like, I have this 2D top-down pixel art game in Unreal Engine, which is like maybe not what you should do to begin with. Maybe. So that's why I'm thinking I probably want to write my own movement component that doesn't take in the navmesh at all. The idea that I want to do is I just want to say, hey, you are here, you want to move to here. That means that you need to move to this Y position. Try to move as far down to that Y position, or up if you're below it, as you can. Do a trace with a box the size of your collision box. See how far down you can go. Once you know how far down you can go there and do a trace in the X direction that you're trying to go to, and then try to get as far there as you can. And keep repeating that until you find a good path to walk. Now, the issue, of course, is if I put this guy like over here, he's going to trace down, and then he's going to trace across, and then he's going to get stuck on this. So I need to implement a little bit more logic there, where if you trace down and the distance is, for instance, less than 100 units, instead try to move like either directly left or directly right first, and then try again. I need to implement some kind of logic to do all of that. But that way, we just get this very straight, very non-problematic movement, right? But that's also a very specific thing. So it's like not exactly Unreal Engine's fault that they don't provide what I exactly want. I do think that it's a little iffy how things get stuck outside the nav mesh. Like, just why would an agent walk outside the nav mesh? Might also be just me overlooking something obvious. But yeah. You have some experience rewriting the cable components because its collision just doesn't work when its shape changes constantly. That was a fun month. That sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like a lot more hassle than the thing that I'm planning to do. Managed to get replication working on just the default pawn. That's amazing. That's cool. Well, good. I think we're going to keep it there for today for this project. We actually made a good bit of progress. We effectively have the economy bit working. The only thing that we don't have working right now is in the NPC. I actually want some more intelligent decision making. We have like the side by card. It's literally just a pool at the moment. Here we should have some calculation that says, hey, taking the value of the card that I'm trying to buy, multiply that by like a rarity that it has, which I think it already does that actually for its value, so that's good. And see what the sales value is, and if that is like under a certain percentage under its current value, pretty much instant buy. If it's over a certain value, pretty much never buy. And between the two of them, I think we'll just want to have some kind of like weighted randomness, whether or not it wants to buy them. But we need to implement that, and frankly, I might make that a C++ thing, because there's going to be like a lot of number stuff, and that's specifically what Blueprint sucks for. So we might make that a C++ function and just slot it in there. But that is, I think, the most important thing to make like the economy side of things work. Aside from that, like the behavior for the NPCs is just finished. I had this idea of sometimes a NPC might like come in and try to sell you a card instead. I'm going to scrap that idea for now. Because this project is taking way too long, and I don't think that really is like the most important thing. I just want to finish this thing up and move on back to like the million things I need to do for the action RPG. So hopefully next week we can finish this thing off. That will be very, very nice. Anyway, I do want to real quick. Let's see. Epic Games Launcher. Open my action RPG project just to show the absolute mess that the UI is that I talked about a moment ago. It's gonna take a second. I did rework a little bit of the combat code, which is to say like literally 2 lines of code today on this, and it does feel a lot better already. But it also made me run into some issues with some of the meshes, specifically some of the animations. So I'm probably going to have to reanimate a lot of stuff as well for the earliest enemies that I made. So that's fun. Nope. Then I tried to update the project to Unreal 5.4 because I figured, the modular control rigs are probably going to be coming in handy there. But the upgrading just didn't want to happen either. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of fucked. Let's see, somewhere in here we have the HUD. Just don't know which one it is. Oh, here, WBP HUD, right? So we have this health bar here, but this is not one health bar. This is a mana bar, actually. This is a couple of bars stacked on top of each other. So that we have like HP 100 to 200, and then, or 0 to 100. And then we have 100 to 200, and 200 to 300, and 300 to 400, because you can upgrade your HP throughout the entirety of the game. But it turns out making like the code to subtract those values from the proper HP bars is like a little bit of a mess. It's actually not as bad as I remember it being. This actually is pretty like manageable. So yeah, effectively what it does is it just does a kind of like a lerp for the first one. Then it takes the current HP value that you have, subtracts 100 from that, and just does the same lerp again for the second bar. So the second bar doesn't know that it's 100 to 200. It just still is on a scale of 100. It's just offset by 100 health. So if you're under 100 health, this is just empty. And it does the same for the next one again. So this is 2 to 300, and then it does the same for the next one again. And it does the same for the mana. I feel like I could probably make this a little bit better, but this is like, this kind of stuff, like, just make it work. So yeah, anyway, I'll just also show the updated, I don't know how echoey this is going to be actually. Oh, I'm not even streaming the desktop audio. So yeah, this is now the speed at which I can like do my attacks. Bunch faster, which is a lot more satisfying. I feel like actually the second one maybe I could do with being a little faster still, but who knows. Oh yeah, those enemies are broken at the moment. That's right. So let's ignore those Satan looking motherfuckers and just like these guys, right? So this is a lot more. Yeah, that last attack doesn't really hold very well. And for some reason the navigation for these guys is also all kind of fucked up. I don't know why or how, but sure. And I added some particle effects for when they do their revenge attack, because nobody in playtests ever was able to figure out that when they glow red, they're about to do a invulnerable attack. And I figured that if you missed a point with those particles spawning in, like, you deserve to get hit at that point, right? Like, that's not on me anymore, that's definitely on the player. So yeah, sometimes I just kind of miss, though, which is kind of annoying. But it's definitely already more satisfying. So that's fun. I have not yet updated the scythe. So the scythe is still very, very slow. And still going to be slower than the sword. But, like, this is unreasonably slow. So yeah, that's the progress that I have in my current project. I have written and voiced an entire video about the like hack and slash feel of the game, which I'm going to be editing this weekend because it should be coming up on like next Monday, I think, on YouTube. So that's something to look forward to. But for now, that's just a little fun. Don't look at that. That's just a little fun look at how that project is going. That's not the project that we're working on right now. This is the side project that, again, is hardly a side project anymore. I'm gonna call it there for today. I don't know why my camera is... Okay, my camera is doing weird stuff. That's a really good reason to close the project. I will be back on Thursday with some more of this. And I think on Thursday what we'll start doing is probably start working on buying cards. Because right now, what we have is we just have this like infinite chest of cards that we can just take things out of. It's not exactly what it's supposed to be. What this is supposed to be is supposed to be an interface where you can buy booster packs. Which get you a random set of cards from like that booster pack. So you can, for instance, buy a booster pack for like 100 coins, and that gets you some cards, which might be worth 100 coins, or maybe a little less. So maybe you want to hang on to some of the cheaper cards until they become worth more, that kind of stuff. And that will then also, of course, check whether or not you have the money and subtract the money when you buy them and stuff like that. So I think that's what we're going to be doing on a Thursday, and then also maybe improving the tile map a little bit to the point where this starts feeling like an actual room and not just a checkerboard floating in the void. Because I don't think that we can really like... I was going to say sell this game. This is going to be a free game. This is going to be free on my HIO. Maybe if I get back to it at some point in the future, in like half a year, to polish things up, I'll put it on Steam for like $1, but probably not. I don't know. But still, we need to polish some things up before I can, like, put this on itch, because at this point, it's just kind of embarrassing. Mainly that being the navigation. Anyway. See you back then, or not? I don't know. Bye. It's been a good one.